Hi everyone, it's Rahman Khan from RMK Six Sigma. I'm just going to be running through a few examples from my new book, Six Sigma Statistics Using Minitab 19. This is the Green Belt edition. We're going to be running through some examples from this book. You can download the data sets from my website, RMK Six Sigma. Hi, this is going to be a quick video based around chapter 2 of the new book, which is again called Minitab Boot Camp. So you can work along if you download the files from RMK Six Sigma. So just as an intro, I've got Minitab 19 open and you can see what it looks like. So it looks a lot like 18 at the top with the toolbars and the quick use buttons. But then it looks quite different because we've got the navigator on the left. So the navigator is used to track the story of your analysis, and it will have commands listed here which you can refer back to. And when you click on one of those commands, it will show you the data from that command. It can be the text data or a graph in the output pane, it's called here, which I'm circling now in the center. Below the output pane is where we have our additional data sets where we're inputting them in, and that's called the data pane. I used to call it the worksheet window. Then on the left you've got the command line, that was in the previous Minitab as well, which is used for the macro language, and below that have a history of your commands. So if you want to, you can look through your history, quickly pull out a command and put it into the command line and just run that command again. So what you can do is you can change the ratio of the output pane to the data pane by pulling this up and down, as shown here, demonstrated. There's some quick buttons at the bottom, so if I want the full window of data, I can just click on that. If I want to bring it back where it was, I can click on that one there, and if I want a full output window, I can click on there. And then there's a zoom function here, which I'll show you once we've got some data in the output pane. So there, looking at the data here, I can quickly add additional worksheets in there. And then I'm looking at worksheet 4, which is currently active, and it's telling me there that worksheet 4 is active. And I can click on this little button to remove the navigator, but the navigator is so useful, it's just worth keeping there all the time. I'm quickly going to open a Minitab file. This is the one for chapter 2, and like I said, you can download it from rmk6sigma.com. It's going to open another instance of Minitab 19 for me. So just to demonstrate, let's quickly go up to the navigator. You can see I've got 4 commands here. Clicking through each of them, so you can see 3 were graphs and 1 was a piece of text data output. Here's my 2 worksheets that I've got in this project. One's called October 2019, one's called Worksheet 2. I've got a history of commands that I've previously logged, so you can see they're all saving stuff, nothing particularly interesting. But let's just have a look at the zoom function now. So I haven't got a graph open, but I've got some text open. So what I can do is still I can zoom in on the text. That's particularly good for people like me who now need glasses. Okay, taking that back to original size, and then if it's a graph I want to zoom into, I can do that as well. And let's have a look at the graph. Okay, bring it back to normal size. Open up the data window and I can zoom in there as well. Great stuff. Okay, if I go back to my normal looking window, as I said before, the navigator is used to take you through a history of the commands that you've used to produce outputs. And I can quickly look through what we've previously made on this data. And if you remember back to Minitab 18, if you're Minitab 18 users, and it just so happens I've got that open here with the same kind of file, we used to use 3 buttons there. There used to be the graph window, and that used to tell us which graphs we had open. Then we could go to the worksheet window where we had our project worksheets containing data. Then we had the session window which contained our text outputs. So instead of that, now with Minitab 19, we've got the navigator for the session window outputs and the data outputs, and we can see our data input pane all the time. Let's have a look at our worksheet data. Okay, we know that pesky little R is in column 1, cell 1, so I'm going to remove that. And then I've got to tell Minitab that this is numerical data. So I click on Data,
change data type, and it's the column called calories that I want to change, and I want to make it a numeric data column. So just click on OK. That's changed that now to a numeric data column. And what I want to demonstrate is if I create some more data, I'm going to go click on Stat, Basic Stats, Display Descriptive Statistics for Worksheet 2 now. Click OK. So now I've got two commands here for Display Descriptive Statistics. One for Worksheet 2 that I've just created, and here's the one that was there previously for the worksheet called October 2019. So now it could get confusing here if I have multiple commands with similar sounding names, but what we've got here that makes it really helpful to categorize them is we can say group commands by worksheet. My commands are split by worksheet, so I can easily navigate through them. I can also do it in time order if required. Another great enhancement for Minitab 19 has been how we can put graphs side by side. We could do this on older versions as well, but it was a bit more clunky. So what I did there was I right clicked on the second graph that I wanted to open, and then click on Open Split Window, and I've got the two side by side. I can add more, but then they start getting a bit small. I can also make my window a bit bigger if required, and make my graphs a bit bigger as well. Okay, and I can also do that with the data. So right click on descriptive data, open and split window, so I can look at the two side by side, which is a very useful function. And also if we want to send something to PowerPoint or Word, we can do that easily from the output pane as well. I can either right click on there, click send to PowerPoint, or I can do it from up here as well on the little arrows. And let's see how it takes how quickly I can do this on my computer. Send to Word, which isn't open at the moment, and then it should open Word. Okay, it's not going to make it active until I click on this, but it sent it to Word, and you can see how the data is still editable in Word, and you can do that with PowerPoint as well. Okay, so that ends our Minitab Boot Camp session on Minitab 19. I hope you enjoyed that. Hopefully more videos to come. Thanks. Bye.